Everybody just wants a paycheck.
No one wants to work hard, right?
Yeah, it's not just work hard. Like, I think it's work hard, but also people don't know how to have a thick skin. Like, you have to be able to develop a thick skin in, I think, any business. But I think a lot of people are told that they did a really good job for a long time. I think a lot of people were the most improved players on their fucking t-ball team. I think a lot of people got to go in on the basketball team even though they sucked when they should have been told they sucked. And a testament I give to my dad as well is in 5th grade, because my dad made me play every single sport known to man. He's like, you're going to play them all, and you're going to figure out which one's good for you. None of them were good. I was terrible at all of them. But my dad also never, he's got to be the most uncomfortably honest person I've ever met, which I hated a lot growing up, resented a lot growing up. Now I'm super thankful. But 5th grade, playing right field in baseball, like 4th inning, my dad comes out on field, takes my hand, pulls me off in front of everyone and says, this sport's not for you. You don't have to play it anymore. Just the most embarrassing, it was the most embarrassing thing in the world. Insane. But he was like, cut your losses. Why are you going to stick here for another hour? Like, you're not good at baseball. It's not for you.
Move on. Let's find the next thing.
So for me, like real estate too, like when people like, they don't want to buy, they don't want to do this, it's like, all right, like I feel bad for you if you don't want to work with me, because I know what other real estate agents are like, and you're going to have a hard time. So like, I oftentimes when I get fired or people don't want to work with me, they work with someone else, I send them orchids, right? I'm just like, listen, God bless you. Everything. Orchids. I hope it's all going to be okay.
We have a 10-year mindset where we're on it only for 10 years. Like, and if we have a huge success or an exit before then, we win. So we know going into it, we're going to have that long-term mindset, that marathon mindset. How important is that from what you've seen in your success? How important is it to be patient in sales?
That's an excellent question. And I correlate it to what I see going on in the marketplace right now. As you know, most people are hopping around every 2 to 3 years.
I see it all the time, 2 years.
Yeah, especially with the younger folks, the millennials, if you will, they get the itch after 12 to 18 months and they want to move on. In my experience in both the brokerage business and the almost 12 years that I've been at MarketSource, it's at least 3 to 5 years to get past that initial ramp to where you're starting to build momentum. You're starting to generate a significant number of referrals. And that's when you see the quote unquote hockey stick growth. So one of the biggest challenges I see in anyone who's managing or leading SDRs right now is the turnover. How are you going to generate significant momentum for yourself or your company if every 12 to 24 months you're moving on to the next gig? And I would not be surprised if that starts to slow down a little bit. I know I'm contrary in that opinion, but I think you've got to be around a little longer than a year or two to make a major impact.
And that's a micro secret too. Let's just call it out because I think it's important. If you're working for a place where you can't figure out how much is owed in commission to you, you have to have a conversation with your manager, or you may want to consider switching. Because
I would say leave. I would say skip over the conversation and just leave, because it's a systematic problem. If it's happening like that, and when things are going well for the salespeople and the salespeople are feeling financially full, and then you do something that is gonna drastically change that, it's good. It's bad for so many different reasons. The most important is the emotional support of the salespeople. You're immediately making them feel like you don't want them to make money and be comfortable, or at least that's how I felt.
No,
and so
I've had my commission change. I ran into both problems. You got 17 different things that you have to hit to figure out if you get the commission. It's like, what the hell is that? And then when they change it because you're crushing it, going all out, and then when that happens, if you leave, they're going to lose 10x the amount of cash.
Yeah. But they don't see it like that.
Nah, the CFOs and financial. That's only good reason. Like, my company loves working here at Seamless because I'm a fucking aggressive salesperson. So
you're a sales
they know
guy.
the CEO is top down sales 24/7.
It was this idea of getting it done and doing it right. And what I recognized in this, and again, actually another story that I saw in the book, I didn't know I was going to be pushing the book so hard. he drew for me in our very first interview, he drew this quadrant. And it was just a 2x2 matrix with getting it done on one side and doing it right on the other. And it was this idea, and it showed me why so many sales cultures are toxic. Because if somebody's crushing it, right, they're getting it done, but they're not doing it right? They're not selling good quality deals. They're selling deals that are going to churn. They're abusing the relationship. They're abusing the organization. It's the old kind of like, I'll run over my grandmother and do whatever I need to win.
Yeah.
That creates toxic sales cultures. And Alex had the answer to this. I mean, it was absolutely freaking brilliant.
What's the answer? What's the secret?
Also in the book. No, so I'll tell you this story. So basically the top right quadrant is you're doing it right, you're getting it done, you're a star. He's like, we're going to reward you, we're going to recognize you. He's like, the bottom left quadrant is also very simple. You're not getting it done, you're not doing it right, you're probably going to be fired. This is sales,
straightforward, right?
What was really interesting is if you're not getting it done, but you're doing it right, then he's like, we believe that good things happen to good people, and we're going to coach you and we're going to work with you to get better so that you can become a star and so that you can get to the point that you're executing. But the secret sauce is in the top left quadrant where you're getting it done, right? You're putting up the results, but you're not doing it right. He wrote 2 big capital letter F's in that box and said, if that's the situation, you're going to be fired faster. And again, it's that recognition that this is, if you don't act on this, and it's so hard as a sales leader, right? Like, I want to cut off like this big chunk of revenue. That's really, really hard to do. And it was fascinating to watch. I mean, this is great talk, right? But I also saw them act on it. And so the culture that breeds, right? And the trust in leadership and to know that, man, we're doing something that matters here and we're doing it right. Like, that feeling was so empowering and important, and it was just pervasive, right? It wasn't the sales team, it wasn't even just the entire company, it was our clients, it was that community that we were building. It was unreal. It was really, really, really something special.
And I guess, like, it's easy to say, like, hey, you need to figure out what's working and replicate it. But I feel like it's hard to actually do. Like, how would you take a step back and look at, like, I mean, to do multiple multi-million-dollar deals in a week is hard to do. So, well,
you can only do your bit in that. So, taking all the credit for that is not something that you can do. I mean, that's incredibly narcissistic. You can only do that if you have the team behind you
doing all the magic.
To do the magic and to continue to keep you informed in an efficient way that allows you to continually update the customer. I never viewed my role as a salesperson as a company employee that did binary deals. Mm-hmm. I always saw myself as an intermediary that sat between the customer and my employer.
Okay.
So it's maybe a slightly different perspective to how most people looked at it, but that was this kind of philosophical conclusion I came to at the end. And I had responsibilities to both. I had equal responsibility to my company as well as I do to the customer. I had to serve the customer, but I have to generate revenue for my company.